Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Titi. I come here to share my life lessons with you from time to time. And in today's video, I want to share with you the importance of having the right mindset. Now I'm going to be using myself as a case study, how I got the job. I checked all my boxes in 2 months after I relocated to a new territory. I'm sharing this story because I've come to learn that every hurdle I cross in life becomes a story for me to share with other people coming in that line as well. So it becomes a light post for them and an easier path for them to cross. So here is the story. About a year ago, I relocated to the UK, just like so many other people. I had worked in service role in financial institution in my home country before I relocated. I've heard stories of how new immigrants in the UK would settle for undesired job just to make ends meet. And I dreaded this for 2 reasons. One, I didn't want to leave my career path that I had worked and invested in for about 10 years. And number two, I wanted to be a full-time mom and had a full-time job. It sounds like my expectations are too high, right? Or you're wondering if I can eat my cake and have it. Well, I never thought my expectations were too high because I also heard stories of people who had it smooth the moment they landed here. So, what I did with myself was that I held on to these good stories and I had a default delete button for the bad ones in my head. The delete button was so active, so much so that I couldn't even recall the bad stories a few minutes after I heard them. I just didn't archive them. Just like every employer will have their job description, I also decided to make a list of the things that I wanted in a job. So number one on my list was freedom of time. I wanted a job that would fit into my personal life routine so that I can be the full-time mom that I wanted to be. And partly because I came in the winter season, I wasn't ready for the cold weather. I wasn't ready to be going out every day in the cold weather to work. Don't mind me. The second on my list was that the job must be a service role. I mean, I've been working as a service professional for a decade, for 10 years, and I didn't want to deviate. I wanted to continue and build my career in that part. The third reason was that the job must foster my growth. I wanted a job where I can grow and I can be expressive. I didn't want a job that would cage me and wouldn't let me be who I am or express my innate abilities. And fourth on the list, of course, I wanted a job that pays reasonably well. I had started applying for a job before I left home. And so I intensified my job hunting when I got here. Week 1, 2, 3, 4 went by with no positive response. My mailbox was filled with, unfortunately, we cannot proceed with you, blah, blah, blah. I was becoming broke. I didn't have any job I could even manage in the meantime because I never applied for any undesired job. I knew if I did, I could get distracted from my priorities. So, in the 5th week, I got an enticing job offer. The job met 3 of my requirements, but it required that I work on site. Because I was broke, I was tempted to take it, so I started the employment procedure. It was going to take about 3 to 4 weeks. On the 3rd week, on the last stage of the procedure, I backed out because I couldn't bring myself to become a part-time mom with my kids, especially because we're in a new location, they were struggling, settling in school, they had no friends, they were not used to the food, The weather was alien to their body, so I wanted to be on site with them. I wanted to be available to help them adapt quickly to the new location, while I also figure out my own adaptation too. I must let you know that in all of this, I didn't lose my joy. I held on to the euphoria of relocating abroad. I optimized the plenty of time on my hands by intensifying my personal development journey. I started making video contents on my thoughts and my life lessons. I finally got the job that checked all my requirements in the 6th week. I started the employment procedure, and in 2 weeks, I started working on my terms and conditions. 2 months after I relocated. Now, let me extract the moral of my story. Number one, your predominant thought becomes the reality of your life. Let me explain what that means to you. I said my story in summary. There were a lot of details that I didn't even touch. Remember, I said that I became very broke. There's a lot packed in there that I didn't say in details. So while I was jobless, it was normal for me to have depressing thoughts, to be confused, to be discouraged, to regret my decisions of relocating. I had all of these thoughts coming to me. But here is what I did with myself. I had a theme for my thoughts, more like an anchor, like a chorus to the song in my mind. The song was a sad, depressing, not encouraging song, but it had an encouraging chorus. So here is the theme that I had in my mind for every thought that goes on my mind. It is well with me. So when I sit down and think of how I'm going to survive the next week with no job, with no money, and all of that, I'll just let out a deep sigh. After thinking it back and forth, I'll let out a deep sigh and say, it is well with me. I was taking it a step further by even verbalizing it is well with me, because it then gives life to my thought. Your thought is still in the dreamland. Your thought is still imaginative. But the moment you verbalize it, you give it life, it activates faster. I am not going to stand here and tell you that I didn't have negative thoughts. I actually did, but I didn't let it linger. Even when it was lingering, I still would anchor it to somewhere and say, it is well with my soul. And that became my reality. So the second lesson that I want to highlight from my story is be mindful of the orders that you place on the universe. So imagine yourself in a restaurant and they give you the list of the menu and you look at it, you go back trying to decide on what you're going to settle for. So when I think of it in my situation, those times I was having negative thoughts, I was going through the menu list, trying to figure out what I'll settle for. But the moment I sign and conclude my thoughts with it is well with me, I've made my decision on what I want and I've placed my order on the universe. So be careful the orders you're making. I'm not going to tell you to avoid negative thought because we can't even control it. It just creeps in. But what you can do is to catch it, arrest it, and quickly replace it with a positive one or counter it with a good and positive predominant thought. And just like the chorus of a song will stick to your head and you sing it even when you don't want to, let your predominant positive thought be on replay in your mind. The third lesson is not only recruiters should have job description, job seekers should have requirements of the job that they want. And you can know that if you have not engaged in self-discovery. If I didn't engage in self-discovery, I wouldn't have identified my priorities, or I wouldn't have gotten to know that I wanted freedom in the job. I wanted to have a remote job that will give me time for my children because it is my priority in life that I be a good mother. I wouldn't know that I wanted or I loved the service role job because of my abilities, my talents, my gifts, my expression, what I want to do with my life. I wouldn't have been able to identify that service role is what I want to stick to. Neither would I identify that growth is an important part of every job that a man should have. So if you're one of those people that think self-discovery is gibberish, you might not be able to place the right demand on the universe or come up with a list of the things that you desire in a job or even in any aspects of life. The next point is set your priorities in order of importance. Now, going back to the requirement that I set for my job, I started with freedom of time, and then I went on to say it must be a service role. It must foster my growth. The last of my priority was the pay. So I arranged my requirements in the order of priorities because I've come to realize that the return, the profit of whatever choice or decision I make in life is to be measured by the human impact, not by material benefits. I first of all measure how it impacts me. Does it make me happy? Does it make me feel good? How does it impact people around me? So your priorities must be in the order of importance. Do not misquote me. Monetary value is good, but let your priority be on substantial reasons. I know there are so many other lessons that some people might listen to the story and extract from it, but on the list of the lessons that I've extracted from this story to share with you, this is the last one and my very best, and it is: prioritize going in the right direction over the speed of your pace. Now, let me break it down to you. If I had decided to go with the job that I got in the 5th week, it actually would have been paying me well than what I have currently. But it would be me walking fast in the wrong direction. I would have been distracted from the freedom of time to do the things that I wanted to do, even with my own personal life. I would have left that priority. I would have gotten a good job faster. I would have probably been earning more, but that is not the direction of my priority. It is not how far, but how well. Would you rather take a job that will take balance out of your life? You wouldn't even be able to give your 100% on the job because you have decided to run fast in the wrong direction. The summary of all of this is that life is bright and beautiful. You are the one that needs to change your dark lens to see clearly. So we've started a new year, and I know a lot of people have New Year resolution. There are new things you want to start doing. You want to learn new things. You want to pick up new habits. Whatever it is you want to do. For me, I'm not picking anything new. I just want to gain muscle and consistency in the good things that I have started from last year. But for you, it could be new things, which is absolutely fine. But whatever it is you have decided to do with yourself this year, please make sure that you have the right mindset. Make sure that you have the right predominant thoughts. Make sure that your mind is positive, because your mind is the formulation state of your reality. Now, I've shared my story with you. I'm not asking you to share yours with me, but I'm asking for one thing. Please subscribe to my channel. It encourages me to come here to share my life lessons and my thoughts about life with you. Please subscribe, click on the notification button. See you in the next video. Bye.